okay? And we need to protect that joint. I figured why not bring one of the leading authorities in rub rail, that's what you use for that, on the set, and he's right over here. This is Mike Kushner, one of the owners of Taco Marine. Hello, my friend.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing so good.
To see you.
I know that you make a lot of different rub rail at Taco. Can we start off with flexible rub rail, and can you show everybody and where you might use that in a replacement?
Sure. What we have over here, these are all flexible vinyl rub rails that are designed for boats from anywhere from 16 to 30 feet ideally. They take flexible tube inserts and they're available in kit form.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the history of this 1989 Pursuit 2650. It's called the Taco Marine Project Boat. And the original rub rail on that was the flexible rub rail, but they didn't have a vinyl insert, no way. They had rope, and you can use that, but the downside is it does disintegrate and it holds a lot of mold and a lot of slime, okay? And we replace that from the boat. What's the next category going from flexible?
These right here are semi-rigid rub rails, which are very popular on boats from 20 to 30 feet. And semi-rigid is something that has the characteristics of rigid rub rail, but it's actually easier to form. It'll take a bend.
Could you show everybody on a larger piece? Could you show everybody how you can kind of form it around curves?
Sure.
And all that?
This is semi-rigid right here, and just with a little bit of
hey, Hercules, what in the world? How are you bending this is a stainless steel insert. How are you bending that?
Actually, John, this is what we call our flex chrome insert, which has the looks of stainless.
This is not stainless steel?
It's actually a mylar film with a clear coat.
This has to be a lot more affordable than stainless steel, because I know that you make all the aluminum replacement rub rail for the boats that want to keep that aluminum rub rail from the 70s and 80s. And you make the jewelry, which is the stainless rub rail. You've got solid back and you've got hollow back. This has to be a lot more affordable, but what is the most popular rub rail today in the world, in the marketplace?
Actually, 3/4 hollow back stainless by far.
Okay, what have your engineers come up with special that we're going to be putting onto the Pursuit today? Because guys, this is going to blow you away.
For this boat, we chose our new Flex Core rub rail, which is a Flex Core is a flexible inside with a rigid outer skin. It takes a 3/4 hollow stainless.
Now, guys, rigid rub rail is traditionally for the big, heavy boats. Okay, when you have all of that inertia hitting a piling or a pier or something like that, it really takes a hit well, all right? And you're kind of giving us the advantage of both. But you've won an innovation award for the nav lights. Tell us about these lights and why might you want a navigation light in your rub rail versus an up on your deck?
John, this is something that has become very popular with a lot of the boats between 20 and 30 feet today, where getting the nav light off the deck and incorporating it into the rub rail.
So there's no toe stubbers. There's no monofilament fishing line getting caught into the light. And Mike, I know that you have a guide. This is a rub rail replacement guide. It's free online. And what's so special about this, guys, is when you're kind of browsing through it, you will actually see the various boat manufacturers, the model boats, and what rub rail profile you need to use to replace it, because this is kind of a consumable. You can make your boat look new again without having to buy a new boat. You can just get some new rub rail and really make it attractive.
Hi, I'm Bert Dell, the project director out here at ShipShape TV. I'm here with Michael Hankins from Taco. Michael, good to see you.
Hey Bert, good to see you.
We're going to be putting a rub rail on our project boat here. So where do we start?
Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to uncoil the flex material that we have. We have a rub rail called Flex Core. Allows you to really work it very easily around radiuses.
Okay, so we need to start drilling some holes, or where do we start?
Once we get the coil out, we're going to lay the coil up on the deck. We'll start at the front. We'll tack a section so that we can start to pull some tension back against the rub rail as we're working our way back towards the back of the boat on each side.
Can two guys do this job?
Two guys are really beneficial. It could be a push and a stretch for one person because you want to be pulling tension on the rail.
All right, so we start laying out our rub rail, laying out our holes, and we're running screws in. Do we need to put silicone on our screws as we're running them in?
Sure do. As we get ready to start, one way to save a little bit of labor is to run a bead of caulk all the way down the edge of the deck, so that when you're running your fasteners in, it's automatically sealing.
Once we get the screws in place, we'll be to the back of the boat. We're going to need to make a turn here.
Correct.
How do we make that turn?
Most often you're going to need some heat, even with our flexible material, and we're going to use one of these heat guns, which will take it about 350 degrees, holding 6 to 8 inches away from the material and trying to heat the back as much as you can, as well as the face, and one of us will be pulling it around.
So once we make the turn and we get our screws in, we're going to need to probably trim off a little excess, right?
Absolutely.
What do we use to trim it?
Any excess that's left we'll cut off with either a hacksaw or we'll use the snipping tool.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and use an end cap. And we have several different end caps. All of our profiles, we make a plastic end cap as well as stainless end caps. And for this particular boat, because we're using stainless insert, we thought it would be best to use a stainless end cap.
Okay. But before we put the end cap on, we're going to mount the insert?
Correct. When you get ready to mount the 3/4 insert, another trick is also to run a bead of caulk down the center of the rub rail.
Okay.
That way, as we're going around the boat installing the stainless insert, every time that we run a screw through into the rub rail, it'll be sealed with the caulk.
Perfect. At this point, is the job done?
The last thing that you want to do is to go around and inspect how your deck to hull fit is with the rub rail itself.